Hi Uprisers, this is Trisha LaCroix with Sacred Uprising Institute. This is a one-step oasis for continued expansion, a platform for your life and your spirit transformation, from beginners to masters to beginners again. And today I have Teri. She is coming she's going to be doing a video with us today, and it is called The Energy That We Create. And I'm so excited about sharing Teri's message with you. So right now I'm sharing this to our page, so just give me a moment while I do that. And Teri, it is at the bottom. It's a icon of a person, and it says it has a plus sign. So we're just trying to get this all ready to go. So just bear with us. Here, I'll send you an invite, Teri. So again, this is always just a little bit clumsy. Hey, Lauren, how are you? It's so good to see you. Let's see, Teri. All right, Teri, I just sent you an invite. So, okay. So we will go ahead and let me do some announcements. So we have a winner of our quartz crystal. Very excited about this quartz crystal. This was given, hey Jill, this was the person who won this subscribed to our YouTube channel, which is Sacred Uprising, and they won this. Her name is Kaya Leslie, and we've sent her a message. But Kaya, if you're watching this, please get in contact with me so I can get this beautiful crystal sent out to you. If she does not, if I don't hear from her by Friday, I will go ahead and we will give this award to somebody else for joining Sacred Uprising and subscribing. After Teri today, who's going to be doing an amazing video on the energy we create, tonight at 5:30 Pacific Standard Time, we also will have Erin, and she is going to be doing a video. I'm adding Teri right now. Hold on, add. All right, Teri. I'm going to be doing a video called Building the Staircase to Hope. I've known Erin since college and seen the transformation in her life from going from tradition or religion and transforming it into a spiritual life has been a beautiful transition to watch. And so I'm excited about sharing that with you as well. We're also going to start some challenges. Hey, Teri, it's so good to see you. It worked. Yay! We were trying to do this from our Sacred Uprising platform. However, it just, I guess on there, you can't invite other people in. You can only do your own video. So we're going to have to just keep doing this from my page. So all my personal friends, I'm sorry you keep getting all these notifications, but it is what it is. So anyways, we're going to start doing some challenges. We are now naming our followers the Uprisers. And each teacher from time to time is going to do challenges. We also, to get people involved and get other people to come on the video to talk about what the teaching or whatever it is that they learned within our videos in our series, what it did for them. The other thing that we're going to be doing, and some of us have already done it, is if some of us are going to be offering free sessions with us if you watch the video live and if you hear the secret word or whatever the parameters are. So yesterday we had Christy Knoll. She won a free session with our friend Lori Green. So watch for that. I will also be doing that on tomorrow, Thursday, on my video series, Calling in the One. So there's a lot of noise in the background from your video, Teri. I don't know if there's a window open or something. It's a little loud. So there we go.
Is that better?
That's much better. Okay. So without further ado, Teri is an energy healer is the best way to describe her. And she's going to be talking about the energy that we create. And I'm just going to let you go and tear it up. So I can't wait to hear what you have to say.
Thank you so much for having me on here. How is my voice? Am I projecting too loud?
No, you're fine. You're great.
Okay, perfect. So the reason why I wanted to start off this these series of videos with the energy we create is because there's been so much that has been going on in everybody's lives. And so either there's a lot of chaos or there's a lot of negative emotions coming up, or there's difficult situations that are happening. And I think that it's important to start at the beginning to kind of understand how we have a hand in this and what exactly we can do to one, understand what it is that we're creating, as well as once we understand them, we're able to kind of make changes so that we have more of that ease and that flow that we really crave when we're going through difficult times. So that's kind of why I started off today with the energy that we create. So I'm starting off at the basics.
Some of us need those basics.
Yeah, because I don't know where everybody is. So just, we are powerful bodies of energy. And so we have our chakra system, which are 7 energy centers that run up and down our spine. We have minor ones too, but those are our main energy centers. And then we have what's called our meridian system, which are like the highways on the body, and they run along the surface of the body, so like the skin and stuff. This helps flow our chi through our body, and this is also the same system that acupuncturists use and acupressure people use as well to kind of release the energy. And then we also have what's called our energy bodies, and these are our physical body, which is also called our etheric body. This again is about just right above your skin level, so it's not exactly touching your skin, but it's just right above it. And then we have our emotional body, which is about up to 12 to 18 inches above the body. And this is where our emotions are, where they kind of sit, our emotional body. So we have emotions that are inside of us, that are inside our chakras and our meridians. They can be inside our organs, just any part of our body, but it also rises above our body.
Okay, so is that why that we do, like if we use Hollywood and whatnot, it works using it on our emotional body because it's going into your, got it. Okay.
And then we have our mental body, which is above that up to 3 feet. And that's where our thoughts kind of hang out. So the energy of our thoughts hang out there. And then beyond that is then our spiritual body. And this is our connection to universal intelligence, universal consciousness. And then beyond that is our big little balloon that we call our aura. So all of this is encompassed within inside of our aura. So we are just these amazing little battery packs of energy. And when we understand that everything can affect everything, then you kind of get a bigger picture on, wow, I'm just this walking, amazing, energetic body that has a hand in co-creating my reality, which is pretty fascinating. So for those of you that have never felt energy, that would like to feel it, I thought this might be a little fun exercise to do. So if you were to rub your hands together, and then you just pull them apart a little bit, and then you kind of just pulse them back and forth. Just a little bit. You can feel kind of like a resistance, like if you were to take 2 magnets, really powerful, and you try to put them together, you know how they kind of fight back? That's kind of like what you're feeling right here. Some of you may feel warmth or tingling sensation or the pressure, and this is actually what your energy feels like, which is pretty cool, right?
Yeah, right, exactly.
So I wanted to start off talking about how we create our realities. So when we were little children, there was a lot of conditioning going on. You say please, you say thank you, you do this, you do that. And we kind of learned how to make sense of our environment and the world around us by applying definitions to our experiences. So what we think is happening around us. So um, as we grow up, we have a good catalog of what we think and what we believe. Okay, so those things are called our judgments. So we start creating our realities in our minds and our thoughts, and then the words that we use to put meaning to those thoughts. So when we start creating our realities, it's kind of like it's as simple as if you were going to go into a party and you're thinking, oh, I'm just not going to have a good time. Well, you've kind of already put that out there in your energy and in your subconscious. So guess what? When you go there, you open up the door, and all of a sudden you're hit with this emotion and these energies, and already you're starting to pick out what is going to validate. Hi, Cindy. What is going to validate my feelings of, oh, this is not going to be fun, or this is going to be boring, or I'm not going to have a good time. Right. So we're already putting forward that our subconscious mind is like, oh, okay, you're not going to have a good time. Well, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. And only will go ahead and start picking up the things that match that vibration, that match that feeling. So it's no wonder when, like when we go into places, we have that effect. So it just popped in my mind right now. So when I bowl, I'm on a bowling league. So when I bowl, I could totally, like, I'll get there and I'll be like, okay, I'm going to get a strike. And then at the last moment, I have just a little bit of doubt, and I see my ball going off to the side. As soon as I'm throwing my ball, guess what? It's doing exactly what I thought it was. But when I say I'm going to hit the pins down and I actually let the ball go without any other thoughts coming in, well, guess what? The pins go down.
Exactly. Okay. All right.
So it's that simple, Another thing, I'm looking at my notes. Another thing is when, here's a big one. When we believe somebody doesn't like us, or someone's got a problem with us. And it's not something we go around telling people, oh, that person doesn't like me, but it's something that we feel. When we walk into maybe a work situation, or we're meeting somebody new, we may have these feelings of, oh, that person doesn't like me. And then, we may do things that direct our behavior that reinforce that person doesn't like us. So if we're thinking that person doesn't like us, then maybe we're heading over to the other part of the room. Maybe we're doing things to avoid them that never really give the other person an opportunity to come and change that view. So that's another way.
Yeah, it's interesting that you said that, because I actually have this conversation with my daughter today. She complains that she doesn't have enough friends. She doesn't have a best friend. She doesn't have, people coming over to the house all the time. But what I have found is, and I talked to her about it, she puts these, what we call blocks. We all know what blocks are. And it's that people want to, she shuts it down before it can even happen. And so, and she looks for the reason. So her thinking is that people really don't want to be your friends. So she's looking for all the synchronicities or the reasons why they wouldn't. So, and then she just falls into that. And so she gets stuck without the friendships. So it's the same with synchronicities. Right. You go, okay, I'm going to quit my job and move to Bali, something random there. And then all of a sudden, because it's on your mind, you start picking the synchronicities up from the universe, showing you going there because it's matching your thought patterns. It doesn't mean that that's the best thing for you, but it's the universe is shifting to mirror it back to what your thought patterns are.
Exactly. Okay. Exactly. So like attracts like. Right. So this isn't how I like to approach these things is when you recognize that you do these things, the best thing to do is not to shame yourself.
Right.
We all have been conditioned to view, hi, Bobby. We have all taken situations that have happened in our life that shape our reality. Mm-hmm. Okay. And those are very real things to us. And so when you do things long enough, they become habit. Right. And when it's a habit, you just react. It's no longer thinking about it. But now that you're becoming more aware of, oh, there might be thoughts that I'm thinking that are preventing me from getting what I want, don't shame yourself.
Right.
Be like, ha, look at me being this awesome creator. Look at what I'm creating, and find joy in it, just like a kid would. Because when you have that kid-like enthusiasm or love, forgiveness for yourself,
Right.
all of a sudden it starts to melt off of you, and you're able to move a little bit more easily into the direction that you're actually looking toward, going towards, you know?
Right.
So I always encourage people to talk to yourself like you would talk to a 3-year-old,
I like
you
that.
know,
Okay. Yes.
with being unconditionalist. And we've never been taught this, you know, we've been taught, this is how I see things, you know, that, and I've seen it in other people as well, you know, the baby is so cute. And then the baby turns 1 and, oh, look at him walking. Yay, good for you. And then they're 2 and it's like, oh, the terrible, nope, don't do that, timeout, chair. And all of a sudden our whole type of parenting kind of changes, because now we're getting, you know, we need to shape them a little bit differently. But the way that some of us have gone about it is, you know, a little bit more, don't do this, don't, you know, always focusing on the don'ts instead of, oh, good for you, look at this, okay? So we're not conditioned to go, oh, look at what a good job I've done.
Right. Right.
A lot of the times we're conditioned to look at, oh, I messed up.
Right.
Oh, I did this again. And so that to me is unhelpful thinking.
Yeah.
That's what keeps us
Okay.
stuck
That makes sense.
and feeling limited, and that we can't make changes. And that kind of thinking is what leads us into somewhat that victim mentality.
Right.
You know, this always happens to me. I can't break out of this. So when we approach ourselves like we're that 3-year-old, then we're giving ourselves that unconditional love that we need to say, I'm okay.
Right.
So what? This happened. I can make changes because I'm that type of person. I'm good. I'm wonderful. And we need to validate those things inside of us. Hey, Christy.
Hey, Christy. It's interesting. There's a teacher. His name is Harold Kushner. He's a Jewish rabbi, but he writes books based off of a spiritual foundation. And one of the things he says, and it goes back to God, is that you know, we're so hard on ourselves. We're completely hard on ourselves, and we have the self-hatred. Some people have self-hatred because they see everything. We see we see how we can improve, right? Where God looks at us and sees our improvement, sees the love that we did give somebody, sees the how hard we're trying, that we're trying to make these adjustments, that he sees our efforts, those quiet things that nobody else sees but us, but that yet you were so hard on ourselves. So, and I loved that because it gave me a little bit more grace for me, that, yeah, there were unkind words I didn't say, or there's somebody I didn't go off on, or I responded in love instead of reacting in fear, you know, and to really look within and go, okay, see our worthiness and see the love within that we're trying to give.
Definitely, to see our worthiness inside of us.
Right.
A lot of us don't take the time to give ourselves that pat on that back, that good job, that, hey, I actually did something and I'm proud of that.
Right.
You know, I think that the more we commend ourselves for doing these little things, the more we're going to, it's like that self-love. You know, it's like putting that oxygen mask on us first before we can help other people.
Exactly.
So the more we give ourselves that love and compassion for being this wonderful person that God created, then we're able to go through life just with a little bit more compassion. And when we have that for ourselves, we exude it. And so we're able to bless other people with that.
Right. That's beautiful.
As well. So another thing that we create is we create our own illnesses, which I know a lot of people are probably like, no, Teri, that's not true. I did not create this cancer in me. I did not create this lupus. Okay. So I don't want to really touch on those aspects so much, but I want to bring it down a couple of steps further. Okay. So when I say we create our illnesses, okay, we create things in our life mentally first. So the thoughts that we're thinking, the definitions, the way we define those thoughts, those behaviors, then start to manifest in our bodies. And then we start creating like illnesses.
Right.
And so I could take me personally and see, like, I've been sick since January with this sinus congestion. There have been some things that have been going on in my life, and the things that I think about, the definitions, how I define what's happening. Oh, this is horrible. I can't believe this is happening. You know, those types of things, those types of scenarios going on in my head. Then because I created them up here in these thoughts, they then manifested physically.
Okay.
Because another thing that was happening was that I didn't feel worthy. I was devastated. And I didn't know how to fix it. And so one way to kind of like create an escapism in life and using this scenario was that I made myself so sick that no, I can't deal with this. Sorry.
Oh,
I can't get out of bed. I can't, no, I can't deal with it, you know? And it's amazing that so that's what I mean by we can create our illnesses. And it's best not to be hard on yourself when you realize that you've created something. It's actually a blessing. So being able to find within that illness, oh, what can I do? What am I gaining from it? What am I avoiding? You know?
And Susan just said, dis-ease creates disease. Yeah, it's true.
Yes, it's so true. So things, I didn't want this to be a downer discussion, but I wanted it to be motivating, to empower us to realize that there are things that we can do. Once we understand how we can positively affect our energy, understanding that we are total, wonderful, glorious, divine batteries.
Right.
There are things that we can do to nurture ourselves and that energy. So a couple of things that I thought might be ways of being helpful for someone, and just I'm going to list like 5 and just pick one that you might want to work on this week. So one thing is being aware of your patterns, being aware of if something keeps on coming up for you, like it's like when you look retrospectively back and you're like, oh, there's a thing that keeps on popping up, or there's a behavior that I have that keeps on popping up, or maybe it's a reaction that keeps on coming up, or a thought. Just being aware of those for a week and going, you know, you'll have your aha moments, your, you know, God, your spirit guides, your angels, people will start speaking to you, and you'll start getting little clues about why that's happening. Mm-hmm. And then another thing that you can do is you can look at your thoughts. Be very aware of your thoughts. That monkey brain that goes on is habitual. And sometimes we're not even aware of the thoughts we have. We could be in a good mood 1 minute, and then the next minute we could be a little bit upset. And it's like, you got to go and be like, what was I thinking? What was I thinking? And being able to catch yourself in the act. This is also a very good time to bring that, you know, that parent of a 3-year-old in, you know, there I go again. Oh, silly me, you know, thinking this. Make it light, because sometimes we get very shameful. This isn't a place for shame.
Right.
This is a place for love and exploration, so we can explore and have fun with it. Another thing that you can do is look at your beliefs. a lot of us have judgments and beliefs that are not helpful for us.
Right.
So being able to look at, well, what beliefs do you have? What judgments do you have? Are these yours? Are
Right.
these other people's? Are these your parents? Do they work for you? And if not, just write it down and then give it some time and see, well, if that belief doesn't work for you, what kind of belief will work for you?
Right.
What's more in alignment with who you are or where you want to go?
Right.
Also, looking at your words. Choosing words are so powerful.
Yes.
So powerful. And so I can sit there and say, oh, I had such a traumatic background, upbringing. I had such a traumatic upbringing. Now you're filled with, ooh, wow, things start running through people's minds, what trauma is to them. Or I could say, I have a very rich upbringing.
Oh, I'm using that from now on. That's amazing. What a difference. It's a totally different vibration. You just blew my mind with that. Because I got to be honest, when I describe my childhood, and I always talk about, I'll bring up my childhood, but I don't focus on it. I talk about, I needed that to be who I am today. But I talk about, okay, it was abusive. That sets a vibration way down here. So I get people that will call me or text me or message me going, hey, I had that kind of, I'd like to talk to you about my childhood. And I don't want to stay in that vibration. I want to go to the enriched childhood, like what you just said. So say that again. I want people to really hear this. Okay. Tell me what you would say about your childhood. Say it one more time.
Okay, so I could say that I had a traumatic upbringing, which goes ahead and paints a certain picture. Or I could say that I had a rich upbringing. And that has different ways. That has different ways of describing it. Yeah.
Beautiful. So, thank you for that.
Thank them. They gave that to me in the middle of the night.
Yes, thank you. That will transform my story. I had a rich upbringing, and you better believe I did. That's right.
And that's, we all have a story, and it's amazing because that story has become a lot of people's identity. And when you're working with inner wounds and inner child and what's creating our blocks and stuff like that, a lot of times people have hung on to their story so tight that it's the reason for everything that they do. And so understanding that every minute you have an opportunity to change your story. Every minute you can change your outlook. You don't have to grip it so tight. It happened. What do you want to get from it?
We can't control what happened to us as children, but as an adult, we are co-creators. We can control how we describe it and how we use it as a catalyst to go to the future. So saying instead of, like you said, instead of saying I had a traumatic childhood, to say I had a rich childhood where I learned so much. It made me who I am today. And that's enough said. It's enough said.
Right.
Wow.
Right. It is that high vibration. So you can do things like that. So with your thoughts, you can do things like, I don't know. First thing that pops in my mind is, oh, I'm so angry. Okay. This is just an example. But I'm so angry. And people can stay in that stuck state. Oh, I'm so angry. But you could say, I'm so angry, but I know it'll pass. Balance the vibration. And so that's a really fun exercise. So this week, if that's what you're going to choose to kind of work on is, what am I thinking? What words am I choosing to describe my experiences? See how far, if there's a scale, and the negative is right here, and the more light, the higher vibration goes on down. Where can you take this one statement or this one thought? What words can you do to change it? Now, I'm not asking you to deny how you feel. That won't go over well with you at all. So we're just asking to choose more high vibrational thoughts, feelings, words that are going to be more in alignment with what you truly feel.
Right.
Okay, so expand that vocabulary.
Yeah, I mean, we have to honor the pain and the obstacles and the frustrations. On Monday, I was trying to get a lot of legal documentation done, and it was frustrating. And I felt like a hamster on a wheel. I was going really fast, but going nowhere, and I was getting really agitated about it. But I had to sit back, and Bliss talks about this. I had to sit back and go, okay, it's Mercury retrograde. Number one, I'm trying to get legal documentation done during Mercury retrograde. This is never going to go well, but at least I'm making progress. So that's okay. And so I had to shift, understand, I had to be aware of how I was feeling about it. I had to decompress, like Bliss says, and to go, oh, okay. And then I had to reanalyze it and go, okay, this is why I'm having a hard time with it, but it's okay because it's going to get done. It just is taking longer than what I had idealized in my mind. And so I honored my frustration, but I had to realign to what I was trying to accomplish. So I think it's interesting with this conversation because I've noticed, like in my house, I think this impacts our homes too. Because I've had a lot of weird stuff happening behind the walls of my home. I've had some internet issues. I just had a couple leaks going on behind the walls. And then I had some electric issues. And so I had to sit back and go, what secrets are going on in this home that now it's manifesting in these ways? And so that's one way it manifests. I also believe that whatever is happening with us energetically manifests physically. So I typically say,
yes,
whatever spiritual issues I have, they manifest in physical form. So I had 2 surgeries on my foot last year now, and I still have a very hard time walking. But my question is, okay, Trisha, you weren't moving forward in certain areas of your life. So what areas are those? So I identified those areas, and I'm moving forward in those areas. So it's all these different, if right now I have laryngitis, but this isn't actually a spiritual problem. This is actually a graduation. So, but I look at everything and go, okay, I see this. So what is actually going on a spiritual or an energy level?
Yes, and I love that. And I always do that with my clients. So I'll always ask them when they come in, what's going on?
Right.
And I have them talk a little bit about the things that are happening because that's actually a window into what they're creating. And Veronica says, I have plumbing and AC issues. Yeah. So plumbing, I know that plumbing, because it has to do with water. Water is emotional.
It's emotional.
Yeah, AC, I'm not too sure. That would be the electrical. But there are great resources out there for looking at the spiritual things. Right. Louise Hayes has her book. There's another book. It's in my closet over there, but it's a thick book that talks about it. But you could also Google. Google is your friend. You could Google spiritual reasons behind plumbing issues or spiritual reasons behind my foot hurting. Right. And they'll come up with a bunch of different authors, and you can go ahead and click and see, well, who's got, what type of information. Because there's different information, it doesn't mean that it's wrong. It's just that, we are this huge. What resonates with you? Because there's a lot of reasons why. We're not cookie cutter people, so there's not going to be a one definition.
Yeah, so for example, with the water issue, so let's talk about that for a minute. It does, when you have water issues, it usually means that there's emotional issues. It also means that for Judaism, water is God. It's symbolism for God. So it is that you are connecting closer to the divine source. Water issues also have to do that you're going through a cleansing of who you are. It's a total cleansing. So there's many different explanations. It doesn't always mean that you need to fix something, right? You have to really truly see what resonates with you. And I'm looking at the water going, okay, I know this is a cleansing because I'm going through this whole big, amazing shift because there's no emotional issues going on in the house. But I'm also looking at the other things that are going on behind the walls. So it's telling me that there's secrets. And so I'm looking within going, okay, what secret, what truth do I have that I haven't been speaking? That's how I'm looking at it, that I need to speak more of what my truth is. So it's a great practice.
It is. And a lot of times what I do is I look at the opposite as well, because you're talking about what truth have I not spoken? It could be also, what truth am I not willing to acknowledge for myself?
There you go.
Because sometimes if we don't have a certain belief in ourselves, okay, the belief that we're lovable, let's say, that's a truth. We are lovable.
Right.
But if you don't feel that way, that's not going to be your truth. Right. And it isn't that it's hidden. It's just that that's an area that you need to work through.
Right. It's amazing to be able to go through our lives, and you can do it little by little. One of the things I talked about is that when I started the spiritual journey, I didn't even know I was starting it, but I did know I didn't like how I was speaking. I thought I was being too negative, and I didn't want to be that way. So I started shifting the way I spoke, which ended up changing the way I thought. So it just started happening. I talked about that to my kids. Let's be cautious. Let's be very mindful of the words we speak, because you can say a blanket statement, but you can always raise the vibration of it if you take a moment to be mindful and just shift it a little.
And that's exactly what I was trying to convey. That's exactly the energy that you bring. And when people are looking to shift from awkward, unpleasant, uncomfortable situations into a more ebb and flow, a more natural way of being, definitely looking at your words and the thoughts that you have are going to be a very good place to start off with.
It is. Do you think next week you can bring that book that you have in your closet so you can tell us what that book is? I'd be interested. I think many of us are familiar with Louise Hay's. And Veronica, I do the same thing on Google. I do symbolism is what I do. I'll put, water symbolism. And so that'll bring up, that's how I learned about it. And I've studied Judaism and Kabbalah. So I knew water, actually. So when Moses parted the water, in Judaism, they believe that's God. The wave was God. Okay. So, but then you have to look at all the different meanings, because we're not cookie cutter once again. So that's where I found out in Feng Shui, it actually means that you're cleansed, that your home is cleansing itself, that you're cleansing yourself, that you're becoming renewed. It's a renewal. So there's a lot of different definitions. So I always go with the one that resonates with me. Right now, with everything going on, I have a few questions. So I'm just addressing everything at once.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. We had a massive water leak that did a lot of damage in this house that we're living in. And we weren't able to live in the house, well, comfortably for like a year.
Wow.
So everything finally got put back in. And so it's amazing now to look back over the many things that have transformed relationships, me personally, my own growth, the people that live in this house, some of the growth things that they have gone through too. And I never really looked into the reason why. I just went, oh, it's emotions. And there was a lot of those going on. So I really enjoy hearing the God aspect from you.
It's really beautiful. And so if, for me, Judaism, I believe there's just so much wisdom in it, and I found that even though before I studied Judaism, that a lot of my beliefs aligned with it. So when I saw that it was actually the God aspect, that changed a lot of things for me. We talk about we're not just the drop in the ocean, we are the ocean, right? So I mean, right there, you're saying that you're the universe, you are everything, you are all, you are the infinite. So it is amazing. Now, I do a series called Calling in the One on Thursdays, and actually I would like to bring you on it sometime, because what you're teaching right now is part of that process. That it was in my thoughts, it was in my home, how I decorated, everything was aligned to calling in the one. It became my universe. calling it in. And when you want to call in something into your life, you change your thoughts, you change the way you speak, you change your lifestyle, you change everything. And that's what calls it in. But for people to actually, who are participants in this, to understand the different bodies, our emotional body, our mental body, and our etheric body, to understand that, and how what we put into it is what draws things. It's the laws of attraction, right? So it draws it in. So to change, it's so important. I think this would be a great thing, and I'll refer back to this video for people to be very aware on how they're thinking, what they're speaking, because it all has to align to one thing. And one thing that I mentioned, Christopher Lee, who's another speaker, had talked about creating an altar for what you want to call into your life. And I found that part of my altar was my writing, because what I wrote on the man I wanted to bring in my life, Charles is all of it. Like literally everything I asked for. I mean, there's a checklist. He's everything. But I aligned every part of my being and all my bodies to what I wanted to call in. So this is such an important lesson. Thank you for that.
Yeah, no, it's huge, and it's so funny that you say that. It's not funny, haha, but it's funny, ironic, because there's a program that I have that I work with people on. It's changing that vibration, being able to call in the love that they want, and it's called creating resonating relationships. And we look at the energy, certain aspects of the body, certain thought fields and stuff like that, and we literally work with changing the energy of it. It's beautiful.
That's great. That's amazing.
And you're living proof of it.
Yes.
Of being able to put your intention out there with clarity, with feeling, with intention, and being able to embody that. And once you're able to bring that in, like you did, you're able to create that magnet, and it's going to come to you.
And what Christopher is going to talk about very briefly on my video tomorrow is that if you don't have the consciousness, so the one was a relationship, right? If somebody doesn't have that relationship consciousness, that they don't have it in them to bring it in, you can actually borrow from the universe. So you can borrow from me to bring it in. And it's aligning yourself with people who have what you want, aligning yourself so you can borrow from them and call it in that way until like fake it till you feel it, right? So that's how how it works. So this is just beautiful. I actually learned a lot through this. I love this. So let me ask you, so can you share with people what type of services that you offer and how people can get in contact with you?
Okay, so the services that I offer are typically people who are in pain. I do whole body stuff. So even though you have a pain, which is a symptom of the body being imbalanced, your body is using pain as a way to communicate to you that something's wrong. So I like to look at the whole body. We create, like we already talked about, we create our reality. So what's really happening at the root? Going through balancing the body, I have different modalities that I use. So along with working with pain, along with working on maybe blocks that people have to either receiving what they feel they want to receive out of life. Right. I work with removing self-sabotage tapes, the negative thinking. So I work a lot with the mental, emotional body as well as the physical body. And of course, spiritual always comes up in there as well. And so, so I do whole body health. I work with removing heart walls, work with removing emotions, work with balancing the body, belief systems, creating new belief frameworks, getting you from point A to point B. And then they can find me on teristanley.net.
Teri Stanley. So you can also friend her on Facebook. I have her tagged in this video. Teri, if you can just put links to your website in the comments, that would be great as well. So Teri's going to be doing an ongoing series with us, same time, same station, every Wednesday, I guess. So I would really highly recommend that you tune in. And maybe for some of you, this is like way out there because you're not quite sure about the whole energy thing. But what I would really like to challenge you to do is start paying more attention and watch what shifts when you watch your thoughts, when you change your thoughts and change the way you speak. Just watch how the universe shifts with you. Test it out for yourself. I know it works because I've lived it. Teri knows it works because she's lived it and she has seen how it's changed people's lives. But why don't you test it out for yourself and just stay open, because this is really important. We are the co-creators of our life. And we have people like Teri that understand this, understand how it works, and can radically help you heal yourself. So.
Right. Another easy thing. So while you're watching your thoughts and stuff over the next week, do a gratitude journal. See how many things that you could actually write down in a gratitude journal. So every day, start off with 3 and see if you can write more, and just be amazed at how much actually shows up.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. If you were going to write 3 things in your gratitude journal, what would you write? Just give them a few examples, and I will as well.
Oh, for me, well, I'm grateful to be on this today, to be able to kind of share, because you don't know who you're going to be able to impact in a positive way.
Right.
And to be able to have a platform where something I say may help someone is a blessing to me.
Right.
Another thing that I'm grateful for is, it's a small thing. I was able to go enjoy my cup of coffee outside in my patio because the weather was really nice, and I got to listen to
little things are the big things. Yes.
Yeah. So that's my second thing, and my third thing hasn't happened yet. I'm waiting.
Okay.
So, I mean, I got up, I had my coffee, I got ready for this, and here I am. So my day hasn't really started yet. So,
yeah,
so I have 2 right there.
The gratitude can be just the simplest of things. I'm, the big thing for me, I'm so full of gratitude for my beloved, for Charles. I am so grateful for the sun shining and the heat that touched my shoulders. And I'm really today, I'm loving my plants in the house today. I'm enjoying that. And so that gives me a sense of zen and peace. So you can look around. Everybody has many, many different things to be grateful for. And somebody, and I don't remember who said that, they said, if you pray and the only thing you can say is thank you, that's enough. That's the most, that is vibrationally the best prayer that you could ever pray. And so today I am grateful. I am filled with gratitude. And my boyfriend Charles often says we have to live in the vibration of gratitude. And that's what we do.
Definitely.
And it has
definitely. I just thought of my
oops,
sorry.
Yeah.
I just thought of my third thing.
What?
I didn't wake up with vertigo this morning.
There you go. That's right. That's right. Yay. Teri, it was so wonderful having you on. I am looking forward to next week. And once again, go to Sacred Uprising on YouTube to subscribe so you can watch these, and you can be notified when we do a new video. This video will be uploaded within 24 hours. And once again, Teri, thank you so much. And people, please reach out to Teri and find out how she can assist you in transforming your life. All right,
thank you so much for having me.
All right,
you guys have a wonderful day.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.